Hey guys, Heidi from Dogmanship Training. I just wanted to have a chat with you about travel sickness. So we have just been on a little family trip with our extended family and also our dogs. And the first time we did this trip with Savvy down to the beach, it's a few hours away for us. She was really sick in the car. She threw up everywhere, was just looking really not like she wasn't feeling very well. The second time she tore up her bed because she was just a bit stressed and anxious. So this wasn't always easy for her. The very first time I got Savvy, or the time I picked her up, she was about 6 months old and she threw up all over my car. She actually filled my center console with spew because she was so sick. So there are two different sorts, I guess, of travel sickness. One is that it's anxiety induced. So they're actually fearful of being in the car or anxious about being in the car, and it makes them feel so stressed that makes them sick. The second type is actual true motion sickness, where they're not actually anxious about the car, but they do feel travel sickness. And I know what that's like because I get quite bad travel sickness, and it's not anxiety, it's just the motion that makes me feel sick. So sometimes the latter, the motion sickness, can bring on the anxiety because you know that you're going to feel sick. And I get similar to that when I do ocean travel or on a boat or anything like that, because I feel a bit stressed because I know it's going to be yuck. I know I'm not going to feel good. So the first thing is that we want to create some sort of confidence from them. Now, their first trips in the car, or usually when we first pick them up, or even if you've got a rescue dog, is usually when they're going to the vet for their vaccinations or they're being taken away from mum. So their first experiences with the car aren't often that great. So what we need to do is spend a lot of time creating positive car trips. So going just 5 minutes down the road to the park, putting them in the car when you go up and grab milk from the supermarket, especially if you've got two people in the car, because then one person can hang out in the car or whatever. Just putting them in the car and taking them somewhere good that's only going to be a few minutes in the car, so that all of those trips outweigh the times that you may have to take them somewhere they don't want to go. What that does is it can help to reduce the anxiety and make car travel something they actually look forward to. The other thing is if your dog has really high levels of anxiety about getting into the car, or they stress, like they're drooling the moment they get in the car, do things every day like giving them their dinner in the seat of the car, bringing them in the car and just sit in the front of the car and read a book or flick through Facebook or whatever, and have a little moment in the car, just letting them chill out and then let them back out. So you're not even going anywhere. They're just getting in and out of the car, because that trigger of getting into the car can sometimes stimulate the anxiety and stimulate the sickness. So lots and lots of little trips, lots of creating positivity. The other thing that I do is I make sure that they have fresh air coming into the car, and the car is quite cold. So don't have your heater on, have your windows down a little bit, have the aircon on, get some air circulating and make it quite cold in the car. Make sure that they are secured in either a seatbelt or a crate or something that they can feel like they're not being thrown around and having to balance themselves. They've got a bit of security holding on to them, can help them feel much more confident. Keep them up high so they can actually get the fresh air, see out a little bit. Don't put them in the footwell, that sort of thing, if they get car sickness. And lots of little trips. You can get natural alternatives like ginger and things like that, or you can get travel sickness medication, which is great to use in the short term, especially with a dog who is anxious, because it takes away that sickness, and so they get a few good experiences. So we used it a little bit with Savvy in the initial stages, get a few good car trips in, and then we were good to go. So lots of little trips. This trip, she is absolutely fine. She's slept most of the way there and back. There's no spew, there's no torn up beds. She's just chilled, happy. She's getting out of the car when we have a break for a run around, happy as anything. This is totally normal. And that's because most of her car trips now are shortened to the park or whatever. If we have to take her to the vet, it's not going, oh no, we're in the car, we're going to the vet, because she's in the car so often. So lots of little trips, lots of creating positivity. If you have to get medication from your vet, do that and use it in a way that is going to teach them that being in the car is a positive experience. My last tip is don't mollycoddle it too much in the car. So of course you want to give them support if they're feeling sick. You want to be like, it's all right, buddy, we're all good, everything's fine. But you don't want to sit in the back and be like, it's okay, don't panic, hold on, I've got you, squeezing them in, because that's sending them the message that I'm feeling unsure about this, so you should be too. So be calm and confident, but you can still be reassuring. So I hope that helps somebody who is heading home on a long weekend trip whose dog's been sick, or you have a dog who gets travel sickness. It's really great to have a dog who can travel in the car with you, because it means they get a better quality of life, they can go new places and you can hang out with them. So if you have any other questions about travel sickness, hit me up. Otherwise, I hope that helps. Bye.